whenever Monday through Friday at 5 on the Lucky Network, Rumble, X, YouTube. Check us out, subscribe, type in iNewsWire on Rumble, or Roy Bleckert if you like. Hopefully, we get the whole hour in on this whole setup. See if I can get all my stuff working. It always is fun when everything quits as soon as you turn everything on. But you saw that wild and woolly chase. This thing is absolutely fabulous for the police pursuiters. This is an Upland. Here's some of the works going on. Here we go. There it is. You're going to see a humongous crash right there as they are.
And he's veering southbound through the parking lot.
Yeah, he goes through the parking lot. Isn't this crazy?
Start fire for this. He's running westbound along the north side.
Where you see these police!
He's jumping over the businesses west.
This guy is absolutely 1,000% out of control. I mean, they had a heck of a time. I mean, this guy was pretty good. I mean, he's trucking pretty far. They're going to wind up finally catching him in this shot.
You got officers taken from the custody?
They finally did get it. That was a wild scene there in Upland. Horrific crash. As they go, here's some more of the carnage that this man, there's one of the cars he hit. He hit multiple cars in this hole. There's the truck that was, good job, Upland Police Department. Another crazy setup, as they say. How would you like an airplane landing on your head? An airplane landing on your head. This actually happened. Here are the few terrifying moments. It is before that plane lands on top of some poor dude. Here we go. How would you like to have this?
Debris everywhere.
The plane skidding to a stop after slamming into the median. The tail blocking traffic coming the other way. The driver, a 57-year-old woman, emerging from her crushed Toyota Camry.
I don't know what good. Just know God is good.
Pastor Bernard Wigley and his wife Annie were among the first on the scene.
It was so bad that it was the only place that she could have survived. If she had other passengers, they would have all been smashed.
Watch as Annie, a trained nurse, jumps over the median to offer help.
She was dazed at first. She didn't even notice the airplane.
Of course, it's coming from behind. It's absolutely, I mean, let's take a crack at this one again. There it is, just kaboom.
Oh my goodness.
This morning, witnesses telling their story after a...
I mean, of course she didn't see it. Who's expecting, and even if you were looking in the rearview mirror, you're not going to see something like this. I mean, there it is. He's, obviously, when you're in an airplane, you can't put up the brakes. It looks like he was trying to hit that gap. It looks like between wherever the dash cam car was and the airplane. And he unfortunately, of course, he's in the airplane. He can't put on the brakes and slow up. Unfortunately, hit this lady. There it is. I mean, and you see, they're exactly right. If you see where the wheels line up, I mean, the outside wheel and the center wheel for the airplane are like right on the outside of each end of the car, you know, the passenger and driver's side door. Man, that was, I mean, you look at that pastor was right. Darn, extremely lucky to survive that harrowing experience. We're going to get into Lyin trans Gavin Newsom. Get rid of the stupid ads. Lyin trans Gavin Newsom. Paris in fiscal emergency. They declared that Tuesday night at their city council meeting. That's going to be an interesting shot going in. We'll have this and much, much more on today's fabulous show. Yes, we will. It's come on, there you go. There's the cough again. I don't know. I've had this about a week ago for about a day or two. I know that's why I know there's a new strain going on, because this is since COVID, January first week in, let's say, 2020. COVID came in. I knew that was a new strain because that was the last time I've had anything like this. Last week for about a day and a half, I had the runny nose. But I can't get rid of the cough. It's absolutely, I don't know. I mean, it's just sitting there. It's been a week now, and I still have a slight amount of that cough left going on. So, and if I don't hit the cough button quick enough, you'll know why on that. Some of the we'll get to the spastic, some of it, California electorate. Because the no PPIC poll, they don't like what's going on in the high prices, what's going on, our government sucks. They're going to keep voting for Democrats in California who brought them all these policies. It's a fascinating study in human behavior. But this came out. Of course, Gavin Newsom's running for president. He's got a new book, Who Am I, or whatever the hell tripe he's trying to run so he can. This is his pre-announcement for president, his book tour coming out. You know, they call Bill Clinton the first black president. Well, I could already say Gavin Newsom is the first trans governor, and he will be the first trans president. And I'm not putting out the possibility. Not good. The way the elections have went so far in 25, don't rule out Gavin Newsom winning. Not that I'm even advocating or that could be America's worst nightmare, I believe. But look at it. He could. Don't count Gavin Newsom out. A lot of people, oh, he's this. No, one thing, he's not stupid. He's not Kamala Harris stupid. He may be a lion sack, a piece of you know what, but he's not unintelligent like a Kamala Harris with a like 0.32 IQ or something. But and again, I thought Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, especially Jerry Brown to an extent, those guys could, I mean, they could tell you something, walk into the next room, and completely do a 180. Here's the one that they caught today with Gavin Newsom, as we'll look at it. See if it plays. Here we go.
So we didn't get into trans sports. That's an issue no one wants to hear about because 80% of the people listening disagree with my position on this. But it comes from my heart, not just my head. It wasn't a political evolution. It
Your
was
position being that
I don't think it's. I want to see trans kids. I have a trans godson. There's no governor that's signed more pro-trans legislation than I have, and no one has been a stronger advocate for the LGBTQ.
LGBTQ. I mean, holy bejesus. I mean, this guy will sit there. Let's play that again because it was kind of garbled there at the first. Here we go.
So we didn't get into trans sports. That's an issue no one wants to hear about because 80% of the people listening disagree with my position on this.
80% of the people disagree with his position on this, which is exactly 1,111% correct. We're going to go back to some of the clips with the Charlie Kirk show and some of the other statements he's made. Here's another one. Complete. Complete word salading.
I looked at that issue and I said, boy, they're just exploiting this. It's a handful of people. What the hell is this? It's being weaponized. It was just another cultural issue. Until 2 years ago, there was a state track championship. We had a trans athlete that was successful, and there was a video of the girl that lost, and she was devastated. And that video went around everywhere. And it was very emotional. It was very real. I remember calling my team in. I said, this is legit. And I did this podcast with Charlie Kirk. Unsurprisingly, he brought it up. And he said, tell me that's not fair. I said, it's not fair. You're right. My party was pissed. LGBTQ caucus furious with me because I don't think it's fair. It's not. But because you oppose.
There he is saying, he just said yesterday or today, oh, I'm on the wrong side of this. Oh, when he's talking to Charlie Kirk, he's on the 80% side. This Klondike will say anything depending on who the audience is. Just like this with Charlie Kirk about his son. Let's roll this one.
Last night, trying to put my son to bed. He's like, no, Dad, what time? What time's Charlie gonna be here? What time? And I'm like, dude, you're in school tomorrow. He's 13. He's like, no. This morning, wakes up at 6 something. He's like, I'm coming. I'm like, he literally would not leave the house.
Did you let him take off school?
No, he did. Of course not. He's not here for a good reason. But the point is
you canceled school for like 2 years. One day.
The point is the point, which is you are making a damn dent.
Thank you. I'm kidding.
So now that Charlie's there, he wouldn't let his kid, he shut kids, not his went to private school. He shut kids out for 2 years, as Charlie put out. Oh, he couldn't miss one day of school to come see Charlie Kirk? Why would he want to come see Charlie Kirk if he wasn't that interested? The day Charlie Kirk got shot, he was on with Alex Michelson. You.
So that's your son, obviously a fan of Charlie Kirk. What was the conversation like between you and your son after Charlie Kirk was assassinated?
Well, he called me, I don't know how he got a phone, but he called me from school that day, really alarmed. And all his friends were around the phone that wanted me to somehow express or understand what was going on. He wanted to know if he was dead. He wasn't a fan of him as much as he was familiar with him.
So that
He wasn't a fan of him? He wanted to come down, begging his dad to come down. His dad's interviewing Charlie Kirk. He doesn't do that. The day Charlie Kirk shot, he finds a phone, finds a way to call his dad wanting to know what's happened to Charlie Kirk. And he wasn't a fan. He wasn't that concerned about it. Holy.
40 seconds.
Holy bejesus. He's, as Charlie said, he's the most fake person in the entire world. He said that with Megyn Kelly. And he was 1,111% correct on that assessment. And, as Jesse said, we'll be joining the Mighty Met here in a few seconds. And we will continue with more on Gavin Newsom, the spaz.
5 seconds. Here we go.
Voter.
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
That funky live guitar music that comes on every Monday through Friday live at 5:30 in the Mighty Met 1490 AM, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire in the aforementioned AM band, joining our vast video audience in the Evil B Network, Rumble, X, YouTube. Check us out. Subscribe, type in IE Newswire, Roy Bleckert, all that good stuff on there. If you got to check out two of them, the Upland Police Pursuit. Dude, I mean, that was wild of what was going. I mean, circles through the parking lot, hauling ass down the street. I mean, sideswipe. I mean, totals out another car. His pickup goes skidding in, trying to drive through the parking lot with the front end of his truck smashed. bails out. Dude must have been in good. He's either in good shape or training as a runner because the cops had to chase him a long way, but they finally got him. And then the airplane that landed on top of the car in Florida. There you see it. I mean, the center wheel and the outside just hovered over the car as it was going down. I mean, and it was lucky only one person was in, and that person, I mean, survived with some injuries, but they could have been really, 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 really 110,000% ugly on that situation, man. That was one of the horrific scenes as you see on that. There's the Upland one where they're on the chase. He absolutely crashes into this poor car. Look at that. Let's run it again. There he is speeding down. Kaboom. I mean, hits it dead in the door. I mean, that could have been, that's another one that could have wound up really, really, really ugly. Fortunate situations there as it goes on. We ran through the Gavin Newsom as well. Again, he's the first, as they said, Bill Clinton was the first black governor, yada, 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 and all that. Gavin Newsom is the first trans governor, and maybe your first trans president in 28, unless people get their ish together, as we say, because the overwhelmingly ridiculous part that we wind up with in this, from this fool, and he is 1,000% a fool. Today he's back on, I'm all for the trans boys and girls sports. When he was on with Charlie, that was just a terrible thing, and I'm taking flack from that. Now he's supporting them. And it gets to, I call it the spastic California electorate. And nothing could be further from the truth. Because of all the things that we go through, they want, and we're going to see this in the PPIC polling, they don't like the high cost of gasoline or homes or groceries or $100 million on the bullet train or $24 billion. Well, we don't even know where it went to go house the vagrants and all this other nonsense that Gavin Newsom has subjected us to. But they're going to vote for Democrats again, who brought us all these policies. PPIC, the Public Policy Institute of California, long time poller, and they try to come off that they're center, but they're really a very left-wing polling. That 56% of likely voters say they are more enthusiastic than usual about voting in the congressional election in November. When asked about this top problems, and Katie Porter is leading in their gubernatorial poll. 40% say they are not satisfied with the choice of candidates. 49% they prefer statewide candidates with experience and proven track records. What, the same numbskulls that got us into this mess? Again, the spastic nature of this is crazy. Their top problems: political extremism, threats to democracy. That's the whole hate the Trump deal. It's more than the economy and unemployment and jobs. And the other one, immigration, but it's way down the list of California's priorities. 46% they're very concerned about the price of food and consumer goods in the U.S. today. 74 think the U.S. will have widespread unemployment, depression in the next 5 years. About 7 in 10 are not too satisfied with U.S. democracy's working, and pessimistic Americans of different political views can come together. But they're going to vote the same experience, the same political philosophy that's got us into the mess that's causing the problems that they say, and they are living every day. California's named cost of living and economic condition is the most important issue facing the state today by a wide margin, 36%. Really, housing cost availability, that should be in cost of living. So really, that should be 50%. Government in general, problems are elected officials, political parties, 10%. So really, didn't get the cop button again. Excuse me. Really, that's 50%. 50% top issue is cost of living, the economy, inflation, housing cost availability, which is what? Cost of living. They're trying to split this so it doesn't look as bad. That's what I'm saying. PBIC tries to claim they're bipartisan, all this. 71% say Californians will have bad times financially in the next 12 months. Well, all you got to do is look at the turkey survey. The turkey dinner survey. This year, under Trump, the average cost of Thanksgiving family dinner was 5% less. It was 33% higher in California. This is why Californians are pessimistic, because we've been getting screwed by the Lyin Gavin Newsom, the first trans president, or governor. Probably the first trans president. We don't get our heads out of our rear. Housing affordability is a big problem in their part of California, which means all part of California. 45% say housing costs are a financial strain on them. About 3 in 4 are less optimistic about making a major purchase, so that 54%, he's back up above 50%. 54% are giving Gavin Newsom a good job performance. They voted yes, obviously, 2-1 on Prop 50, the gerrymandering deal. And that cuts across you basically the 60-40, whatever. Democrat, Republican, hate Trump. Trump's at 29% with likely voters of that. U.S. Congress is down, which they are almost all the time in every poll at any time. Supreme Court, we don't like that. Immigration policies, they're saying, now this is completely different than the country. The country is about 60% approving of ICE, Homeland Security's handling of the border crisis. 67% of likely voters disapprove of the job in California. Almost an exact reversal. So I'm saying the California voter is spastic, outlier, completely different than the other 49 states, and that's mixing in the New Yorks, the Illinois, or let's put it New York City, Chicago, Illinois, Seattle, Portland, Austin, Texas, some vast spots of extreme left-wing kooks. Even 50% or more Latinos across the country approve of the ICE raids. 83% are disapproving in California. They want the tax credit on on Obamacare, they don't realize or they're not grasping. Obamacare has driven the cost exponentially higher. That's where your money is going. That's why you can't afford this or that. Yeah, we want to keep it. We want to be charged 3 times for half the health care is what they're saying. If you're voting for the tax credits or Obamacare, you are voting your health care to pay 3 times as more for half as much. It's 3 times the rate of inflation the past 10 years since it's been in. Healthcare costs have risen. And it ain't went to hospitals. The profits have went to the oligarchs, the rich guy, the rich white guy, or whatever you want to try to, whatever false narrative you want to try to run. Of course, they don't like the Supreme Court or Trump or Congress. It's stunning. The only plus side he's on is in whites, 36 like him, or has a better over Trump, over Congress. They like the Supreme Court in that. And again, that's probably about the population that's actually the working class. Of course, we get to the governor's race, and then we're all over the place. Today's particularly interest is high. Got to give it to my peeps in the IE. 48%, Central Valley 46%. This bodes well. These are Republican center-right areas. The enthusiasm gap, or the enthusiasm index, tells you who's going to turn out. This means our base, our 40% that we should split evenly between Chad Bianco and Steve Hilton, are motivated to vote. Our areas, our spots are motivated to vote. That bodes very, very well. Republicans, 49% paying close attention. Democrats, only 34%. Independents, 26%. Again, that bodes well. The enthusiasm index is favoring Republicans. Remember, people want to throw out, people are in the mood, as we've seen the last 3 or 4 election cycles. They don't care who. They're not looking DNR so much. You ain't getting it done. We're throwing you out and trying somebody else. Of course, Democrats are satisfied, which is good. That makes them more complacent. Then they got their poll. Katie Porter's back on top at 21%. Javier Baccaria, which is almost swallowing there at 14%. Hilton at 14%. Bianco at 10%. Tony Villar, or Antonio Villargross, at 8%. Betty Yee at 7%, which is probably as high as she's ever been polled. I think that's probably as high as Baccaria has been polled too. Which is another. Likely voters are evenly divided on which 2 sets qualities of that. With new ideas and a different approach, or experience and proven record. Democrats, likely voters, lean towards experience and proven track record, while Republicans and independents lead toward new ideas. That bodes well, again, for Chad and Steve. Again, but we have to be sharp enough. We have to be sharp enough to split that vote evenly, that 40% or so, and if we expand that more, then better odds, and then hold the 7 or 8 or 10, 27, 95 Democrat dwarfs, get in there, hold them to that, which we're doing. Even Katie Porter's creeping up in that little range of up in 21. But I mean, that's, if we can hold the Democrats and split their vote like they're doing, we can have Steve Hilton versus Chad Bianco in November in California. 9 in 10 Republicans, a majority of independents, 56 want to see new policies, while 7 in 10 Democrats want to see a continuation of Newsom's policies. There's the spastic part. They complain about the high prices. They complain about the choo-choo train to nowhere costing $100 billion. They complain about the vagrants. They complain about their schools ain't going right. Their kids ain't getting an education. This is wrong. That's wrong. But they're going to support Gavin Newsom. Their traffic is bad. Their gas is $5 going to $8 a gallon. With the 60-40 left versus right deal, as you see that the experience versus proven track record of new ideas being evenly split, again, shows the enthusiasm index is moving center right in California. Because we're leading with Republicans and independents, and Democrats only got a plus 10 from this polling. 63% of likely voters would lean toward the Democratic candidate. Well, that, like we said, we got about 60% center to off the deep end left in California in the electorate. Now they do want split government. They want to try to get, they believe, and sometimes this is true, if Democrats control Congress and there's a Republican president or vice versa. And in a lot of ways, that isn't necessarily a bad idea. It might be in this election because the way they're getting in is hate Trump, and the Democrats will crucify him every chance they get. Overwhelming majorities of California adults and likely voters say the U.S. is headed in the wrong direction, 77%, Thinking of that. Most Californians say they're at least somewhat concerned about the price of food and consumer goods in the U.S. If you want California policies, they're going to go higher. What if we shut down all the frickin' refineries in the U.S.? What do you think is going to happen to the price of gas? If we start closing down electricity plants from nuclear to natural gas to coal burning, I think we're going to do it all on wind and solar. That's going to drive electricity prices. You want California roads across the whole nation? You think the rest of the nation should suffer like we are out here? You think you think your optimum world is to have vagrants pissing and crapping in front of your house or your businesses, or your kids got to go through them to go to school, where they're getting taught to be stupid and look at a screen and rot their brain? Again, and you don't. Again, a growing number of share of Californians predict increase in political violence in the U.S. over the next few years. Because they think they're going to get their way. They saw what the George Floyd riots did and stuff like that, or their little protests. California continues to see the economy, cost of living, inflation, 39%, and housing, which should be 50%. It's the same thing. They're trying to not make it look so bad. Residents in the Inland Empire are the most likely to say they feel the strain of high housing costs. And we're much cheaper. Out here in Southern California, we're like the cheapest area out here at all. We're at 52%. LA's at 48%, and their median price in Orange County, and their price is almost 40 to 50 to 75% higher than us. Nearly half say the cost of housing is causing a financial strain. Well, that's because of the Democrat left wing Newsom, Jerry Brown policies that we've had for years, and you want to vote for them again? You want to put Katie Porter in, or Javier Baccaria, or the spy Swalwell? Gavin Newsom, of course, is up to 54%. State legislature, 51%. This is unbelievable. They think the California legislature by about 2-1 is better than the U.S. Congress, which is stupid. This is a result of dumbing down kids who later become adults in school. The main reason. And immigration policy, and not requiring them to adopt our culture like we had done for almost 250 years. Just waving them in. Democrats approve of the governor at about 111%, not quite. It's crazy. You see independents are evenly split. It's 90% of the Democrats hate him. Well, no, only 80% like Newsom. Republicans, it's 90%. So let's say the enthusiasm index is working our way. Notice they tried to stay off the California issues and focus more on the national part because that's skewing it their way. And again, they tried to run the cost of living in California is stupidly expensive. Even though you make more money here, the cost, let's say you make 20% more living in California versus Kansas. It costs you 40% more to live in California versus Kansas. Consequently, your purchasing power and your quality of life is better in Kansas because your dollar, your wealth, buys you more. You have better opportunity in Kansas. Your earnings won't be ate up by prices increasing faster than your earnings are. This is why they don't want to teach you anything in school. Because as they've taken these concepts, no, these scientific truths, if you want to say it, facts that have been since recorded history. Just like the deal we ran on Gavin Newsom. Well, today he's for, no boys and girls sports because they, 80%, and that's not fair. Oh, I'm the trans president and I'm taking heat because I'm on the only 20. I'm on the losing side. He's on both sides of the issue. And then lying about his son. It's inevitably one of the biggest interesting displays of human behavior. The spastic California voter. And spastic they are. Man, we didn't get to it or didn't have time to delve into it. City of Paris has declared a fiscal emergency that kind of came out of the blue. Here's the we have the story on iNewsWire. Maybe we'll get more into it. Yep, same thing. Declining revenue, soaring expenses, public safety costs expanding. Same thing. Cities are seeing it. School districts are seeing it. This is why they want you to be stupid. This is why they want to show you the short little videos. Because it's rotting your brain. And this is in NBC News. It's rotting your brain. I think if I was going to have one wish from the Magic Genie to cure this, I'd say take every 3x5 screen, take a 36-pound sledgehammer, and mash them into smithereens. Then we might have a fighting chance. That'll do it for today. As we usually say at this time, it's mandatory you're back here 23 hours wide to hear the best darn show in the whole wide world. Until then, see ya.
All right. Have a great night.
You got it.
And white Americans will soon be a minority, and that's great.
You know, whites will not be the majority. I mean, it's an exciting transformation of the country. It's an exciting evolution and, you know, progress of our country.
And the one idea is how we are going to exterminate white people, because that, in my estimation, is the only conclusion I have come to. We have to exterminate white people off of the face of the planet to solve this problem.
He said, yeah, I've been silent for 35 years. He said, you know, I watch your stuff and I can't believe that you got this email. And I said to him, the chances of me seeing this were basically slim to none. And it was the first email that was in my box, and I just called you. And I feel God moving in that. And despite the, just the utterly demonic and satanic action and the level of collusion that had to take place for 9/10 to happen, I do also know, as I have always known spiritually, that they wouldn't get away with it. And I think Charlie, whatever vision he had, in which he knew his life would be short, and which he knew that I would not let this go because I somehow feel tied to it. And he said, yeah, I've been silent for 35 years. He said, you know, I watch your stuff and I can't believe that you got
there have been people who like Ian Carroll, and it pains me to mention her name, Candace Owens, because I know how close she was and maybe still is to Charlie. But at the end of the day, she's chosen to hijack his death right now to blame it on Israel. I mean, it's just so disturbing. But then you have the people who are sort of a bit more in the middle, Michael Knowles and others, kind of in this in-between. What do you think's going on there with them?
Yeah, look, I mean, we can talk about every commentator one by one, but I think it's kind of easier to make a few kind of generalizations, right? I think a lot of folks are
also, to protect me, the mission and the prosecutions, I was also put under an NDA gag order, which was dated out, right? Look, it says 1990 to May of 2025 to prevent me from mentioning this entire ordeal. The witness protection entrance never happened. The ball got dropped. I never got contacted for it. From what we uncovered, a deal was made with the compromised U.S. Border Patrol agent commander. Okay, so let's pause and just recap there very quickly. And I'm going to tell you what this has to do with Charlie Kirk, okay? Also, to protect me, the mission and the prosecutions, I would... Many of you emailed me something that was quite surprising. Maybe I'm just ignorant, but they let me know that this is a very niche industry. And by niche, I mean that you asserted that it implies major government contracts, likely the CIA. Those of you who have worked at those industries telling me that there are even certain valves that are exclusively manufactured in Israel, and that they tend to be involved in this. The government and the military app that they note every country that they have. No one, and I mean absolutely no one, outside of my husband and Erica Kirk has the power to shut me up right now. That's it.
And so my message to them is to stop. To stop.
I am on this journey to figure out what happened on that day. I'm not going to stop unless Erica Kirk asks me to stop, as I have said, or my father, or my husband asks me to stop.
And so my message to them is to stop. To stop.
Okay, super fun show today. You're probably seeing the clips, but Erica has gone off on conspiracy theorists. Obviously, every journalist out there is emailing me because it's about me. It's indirect, but it's also about me. And don't
Ding, ding, we're in the ring. Let's rock. Ding, ding, we're in the ring. Let's rock and roll with the World of Outlaws here at Volusia. Into turn number one, it's going to be Jimmy Owens jumping out to the early race lead. Davenport did not get a good start, up and over 1 and 2, just a tad. That allows for Alverson and Tyler Erb, as well as Nick Hoffman, to drive on by. Davenport from the outside of the front row to possibly fifth at the line. Nick Hoffman will get Davenport. So Davenport fifth. Hoffman going to look to his inside. Now Hoffman will drive away down the back straightaway. Leads us back to the Gorsuch Performance green flag. Max Blair right around the bottom, reclaims second. Ew, Jimmy Owens too high. Kieran Alverson on the bottom. 3 wide for the race lead. Down the back straightaway. $20,000 on the line. Off of corner number 4. Owens up high. Alverson down low. Jimmy Owens. Oh man, what a lap. He saves it. He leads. Gator Hunting down the front straightaway. The 20 and Jimmy Owens holds on to the race lead. Garrett Alverson knocking on the door. Lap traffic on the bottom. Garrett slide job for the lead. New race leader, Garrett Alverson. Jonathan Davenport looking for the lead. Slide job in 4. Off of turn number 4. Alverson says not quite yet. 2 to go for the 58 of Alverson. He reclaims the lead. Davenport back to his inside. A barn burner here at Volusia. Down the back straightaway. Oh man, I don't know how Alverson kept it on the racetrack off of turn number 2. Got a good exit. He holds on to the race lead. The Barretts, 1 lap to go. $20,000 on the line. Garrett Alverson ripping the left. The 49 to Davenport holds on to second. Down the back straightaway. Jimmy Owens follows in third with Max Blair. But a new World of Outlaws feature winner, our 102nd winner, Garrett Alverson, is a World of Outlaws late model feature winner.
Well, now you're going to have to prove that you have the ability to be a CEO and a chairman and not just a wife who we expect emotion from. And you're rightful in that capacity. You are rightful to have emotion. You are rightful to be the aggrieved widow, but you don't get to just be widowed into the position of chairman and CEO. You donors who have given money and are asking me to get replies right now because the scene filled with emotional manipulation, $150 million organization. No, I reject it. I reject that 100. I don't like secrets, especially when they pertain to the public of my friend Charlie Kirk. So we've got planes from Egypt, cell phones from Israel, and we are getting the runaround from the Trump administration, the runaround from his friends, the people that wanted to just stop asking questions and move on. What does this feel?
There has been a showdown going on within the last couple of days between Miss Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro has come out when he was being interviewed by Megyn Kelly and straight up said,
I think that what Candace Owens is doing right now is evil.
I didn't opine on whether it's evil or not, but my position is it's really none of my business. And
why is it? But I have a question. Why is it none of your business? I mean, you comment on these things for a living.
I'm not mother of the internet.
No, but if this were on the left and somebody were accusing Charlie Kirk of his wife having murdered him, I assume that you would be talking about it.
Is that what Candace is accusing Erica of?
Yes.
Of murdering her own husband?
She's accusing TPUSA insiders and other members of the right wing, including Seth Dillon, of being involved in the murder of Charlie Kirk. Yes.
Okay. Like I said, I don't take in that content.
Even Candace went on her Twitter and said, Ben Shapiro took the stage last night with Megyn Kelly and lied through his teeth. He said that I accused Erica Kirk of murdering Charlie Kirk. This quite literally is made up out of thin air. I've never seen Candace talk about Erica. There's been a showdown going
Meanwhile, here in Europe, I haven't seen a ton of the migrant situation because I'm normally in like really nice places. Capri is like a little tiny island. It's super expensive. Actually, bringing them in, it's all part of the clergy plan, which is
practitioner in their national. They fulfill the Jewish messianic prophecies that the
So you got it there. So that way you guys know I can't see shit. So, but I am trying to show you guys.
And the one idea is how we are going to exterminate white people, because that, in my